For Missouri State students, how they are handling the changes.
Also, we're looking at different ways people can address racism in the Ozarks. We'll have these stories and more all coming up this morning for you here on Daybreak.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Today is Tuesday, August 18th. I'm Jennifer Abreu.
And I'm Joe Morano. Nigel McDonald will help break that down a little bit, talking about ways to address racism. But that's just a small part of a lot of coverage we have coming for you today.
Yes, this is a special series we'll be airing for you here throughout the next few weeks.
Yeah, but we are here to get you started on this nice Tuesday morning. And boy, if you like going outside, this is the week for it. Meteorologist Elisa Rapp has been telling us this. Really felt that way yesterday, Lisa.
Yeah, it's been really quiet and pleasant out there, and we're starting out pretty comfortable out there again this morning.
Yeah, it was a little chilly when I stepped out this morning, but it was the middle of the night, so maybe it'll warm up as the sun comes out.
Yeah, it's just that feel that we're not used to in the morning, right? Because we're used to it feeling kind of like a sauna out there.
Yeah.
But it's pretty comfortable to start this morning. It's dry with a few clouds, and we got those temperatures in the lower 60s this morning. A few clouds out there. It is 62 degrees in Springfield with some light northwest winds, and those dew points pretty comfortable again in the upper 50s. Clear skies to start. Nothing on that satellite and radar this morning. You've got these temperatures at 64 degrees in Branson, at 66 degrees in West Plains, and 68 degrees in Camdenton. Dew points are feeling pretty good again in the middle and upper 50s as some more cool and dry air takes over the Ozarks. You've got greens on the Muggy meter map where it is feeling good. Some dry roads out there as you head through the afternoon. I expect lots of sunshine. No weather hazards for you out there today. Just grab the sunglasses. At the pool, you'll have mostly sunny skies. Temperatures up around 82 degrees, so it'll be cooler than yesterday on north winds and a cool and pleasant air mass. So cool sunshine today, very pleasant tonight. A sunny stretch will start to turn hot by the end of the 7-day. Details in your full forecast coming up in 10 minutes.
City leaders voted down a mask ordinance for the city of Ozark last night. It was a 3-2 vote with one alderman abstaining. This is just about a month after Nixa, the other major city in Christian County, also voted down a similar bill.
If the school goes down, it would not be outside the realm of possibility if the school has to close to say that it could take the economy with administrators, custodial staff, bus drivers, bus tires. How many contracts does the school have that are only fulfilled if the school is in session? You will take millions of dollars out of this economy if the school has to close down.
And now that was the mask ordinance's sponsor, Alderman Nathan Poston, last night. The vote was delayed last week after hours of public comment in a special meeting. We spoke to an Ozark restaurant owner before the meeting who is against that ordinance, saying she'd lose money if this was passed.
Many people come in with masks, wear the mask, sit down, take it off, eat, put it on, and leave. We completely support people that want to wear masks 100%. We are just saying don't make us put a cook in a mask and put them over a 350-degree fryer or griddle for an 8 to 12-hour shift. It's not fair.
Now, Ozark Mayor Rick Gardner actually mentioned after the vote that he would have voted against the bill and suggested the alderman bring up a better one.
College students went back to class at Missouri State University yesterday, and everyone is required to wear a mask. The only time students are allowed to not wear a mask is in their own dorm rooms or while eating in the dining hall. Dr. Cameron Wickham, Faculty Senate Chair, says there are seating charts that are fixed for all classes to help with any contact tracing if necessary. And Dr. Ryan Reed, Director for Access Program, says students have been cooperative in these safety procedures.
So far, I've seen everybody wearing masks, so it's been great.
That was a large concern of faculty, that they would have to be enforcing masks in the classroom, which, and unfortunately, it became such a political issue unnecessarily. But from what I've seen so far, I'm hopeful.
And hopefully every week it'll get a little bit better and things will go well this semester.
Faculty and staff members as well have to wear a mask unless they have their own private office.
Another area college is starting its move-in week as students at Evangel began to moved to campus. The university is staggering its opening of its 6-week residence halls for EU launch. New out-of-state students are arriving this morning, and returning students will move in on Wednesday and Thursday. Samantha Wheeler is helping those kids complete a saliva test as part of the check-in process.
Around campus, everyone has to get tested. It has seemed to be a really good thing so far. We haven't had anyone turn it down, which is really good too.
The first day of classes for Evangel starts up on Friday. Moving on for you this morning, on June 6th, you'll recall Park Central Square in Springfield held 2,500 people trying to get across the message of people of all races should be treated equally.
That march and others nationwide stemmed from the death of George Floyd. Some U.S. cities are still seeing daily protests from groups who say systemic racism has to be addressed head on. Color 10 and KRBK tried to do just that, and Nigel McDonald is in studio this morning to tell us how.
Yeah, good morning, Joe and Jen. We invited several members of our community to look at ways to address racism in the Ozarks. What you're about to see wasn't our first sit down with them, but it was one that revealed so much about what they call our baked-in biases.
My generation is just not as patient as the generations before us.
Tony Robinson leads Springfield's NAACP and wants to give the community a wake-up call.
I think the Black community is really plagued right now with a lot of grief and anger, and that's very much valid, and I feel like that's kind of where I am personally, and I've expressed that to the chief and other leaders.
The NAACP is meeting with Springfield police, demanding change in how suspects are detained, how often people of color are pulled over, and how police complaints are investigated.
It was created in 1999 by City Council as a means to basically offer an appeal process for people who file complaints against police officers and didn't agree with the finding of the chief of police. So it's structured in that there are 5 members and they're appointed by City Council or the city manager and approved by City Council.
While this event got the nation's attention, these community members say you don't have to look only at the streets to see inequity. Dr. Ivania Garcia Pusateri works on diversity within the R12 district.
We see systemic racism in education when it comes to how are we teaching the history to our students? What are our students learning? Who do they see at the forefront of history and who do they see being left out?
And if you're not Black or brown, recognizing systemic racism can be murky. Springfield's city manager says we all have something to learn.
If we can't develop that perspective to understand why these things are of concern today to those that are affected, we'll never be in a position to properly judge them and really be able to work with them.
Sometimes when confronted with the realities of our society and the disparities that exist just by number, by data, that some people get overcome with white guilt, or the notion of white guilt, and will cry and the attention becomes on them.
Dr. Leslie Anderson teaches at MSU. She says we have to be humble and receptive to what someone else's experiences might be.
White people particularly sometimes will get defensive or sometimes not want to talk about it or change the subject.
And all agree the time for action is now.
Historically, I think we're at a very critical point in our history where people are saying we've waited long enough, when we really want to see substantive action and we really want to see some historic things begin to change dramatically for the better.
Now, what we saw there was a lot of different voices from the Ozarks right there. What intrigued me a lot, though, was the topic of what is taught in schools. Is there anything that surprised you as you were working on this story about what people learned and what can be changed?
Yeah, one of the things I thought was really interesting was people of all colors, students that I reached out to, they didn't learn a lot about Black history. They learned just, the standard, what most of us know, MLK, those types of things. But they really didn't learn about all of Black history.
So something that can be changed moving forward, right?
Yeah.
And that is something you're working on right now. That'll be your next story, focusing on that Black history.
Yeah, that'll be my actual specific story for this series, is how that impacts students to see people who look like them in history.
Okay. Yeah, and another thing too that you talked a little bit about was the protests and how that can look different too. What did you hear from those people you talked to about protesting and how that can look different?
Yeah, well, specifically Dr. Lyle Foster, he mentions that protesting looks different for all people. For some people, they might take to the streets and protest. Some might lie down in silence. It's just you do you, basically, is what he says, and what looks right for you.
In your own way. All right. Thank you very much, Nigel McDonald, and we'll continue this series, Together We Heal. You can join us tonight for our series at 6, and then the panel discussion at 6:30 right here on Color 10. We'll also have a full hour on the panel on KRBK tonight from 7 until 8.
And we have a complete discussion with that big panel that you saw in Nigel's piece there. That's available to view in its entirety over on ozarksfirst.com. Stay with us. More Daybreak is coming up in just a few minutes. We're just getting started this Tuesday morning.
From Color 10 Ozarks First, Jennifer Abreu, Joe Morano, and weather with meteorologist Alisa Rafa. This is Color 10 News Daybreak. And now weather with meteorologist Alisa Rafa, certified by Weather8 for the most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
Good morning. We are starting out quiet and comfortable again. We've got some mostly clear skies and that temperature at 62 degrees in Springfield with some light north winds and dew points in the upper 50s. All of these things telling us that it feels pretty comfortable out there this morning. It is 64 degrees in Branson, 64 degrees in Mountain Grove, and 68 degrees in Camdenton. And we're coming with some of that lower humidity. Dew points in the upper 50s are feeling good. For a change, we're at the bottom of the muggy meter where things are feeling comfortable out there this morning, and you get a little bit of relief from that overnight heat, which is nice because we find on average that our summer nights are warming in Springfield. This is a look at our average low temperature in the summer since 1970, and you can see it's got a very high fever here in Springfield, warming by 4 degrees since 1970. And when you get those warm overnights, especially, you know, the AC cranks all day, but then if you don't get relief at night, then you can't turn off the AC at night either. So these very warm overnights also help increase the cooling demand for those temperatures continuing to stay over 65 degrees. And you can see that that's the case since 1970 here in Springfield. And we project that the air conditioning use in the future for homes will need to increase by 59% as we keep this heat lingering longer, you know, earlier in the summer, lasting later into the fall, and we just keep these warm overnights, right? So when you have to use that AC all day and all night, you get a couple of different impacts there. Higher AC use obviously will increase your electric bill. Many of us have felt that pain this summer. You'll have more causes or cases of heat sickness, especially for minority and low-income groups that might not have access to AC. And then you'll have increased carbon dioxide and heat release from these AC units, right? You keep them running, you keep all this energy going, you get all that excess waste coming out. So just some interesting thoughts as we get some nights of relief here coming up, we'll be able to enjoy some of that relief and less AC. Muggy meter looking pretty good this morning. Front to the south, you've got some pleasant conditions out there this morning. That's because we have a new cool, dry air, shot of air coming in. So it will feel pretty good as we head through the afternoon. It will be cooler than yesterday with highs in the lower 80s as we get this cool dose of air coming in. Overnight, very pleasant. Open up the windows again, give the AC a break with those lows in the upper 50s. And then by tomorrow, we'll have those lows in the low to, those highs in the low to middle 80s again. So quiet week ahead still. We'll start to nudge a little bit hotter by the end of the week and into the weekend though. This big area of high pressure, that summertime heat and humidity starts to nudge into the Ozarks by the end of the week. So expect some cool sunshine out there today. Pretty crisp 50s and 60s tonight. You're pleasant through the middle of the week, trending hotter by the weekend, and still looking at a pretty dry 7-day where if you're concerned about drought conditions, those will continue. That warming trend pretty much starts tomorrow. You've got a cooler day today at 82 degrees. Then we wind up at 92 degrees by Saturday. So each day getting a little bit warmer and a little bit stickier with that average around 90 degrees. You'll find some overnight relief as well with those lows in the upper 50s by tonight and into tomorrow as well. So some breaks for the AC before it gets muggy again going into next week. 82 degrees today. You'll have some cooler sunshine on north winds. 58 degrees overnight tonight. It will be cool and pleasant. 84 degrees tomorrow. Nice and mostly sunny. You'll find a pleasant stretch through the middle of the week, warming up by Friday and into the weekend. Things getting hot and sticky again with those highs in the lower 90s.
Stocks finished mixed on Wall Street Monday. The Dow fell 86 points. The Nasdaq rallied 110 for another record close, and the S&P 500 rose 9, finishing just a few points shy of its all-time record. Elon Musk's fortune continues to vault higher. The Tesla and SpaceX founders' net worth surged $7.8 billion in the span of just a few hours after Tesla shares rallied 11% and closed at a record high. That was enough to make Musk, with nearly $85 billion in assets, among the top 5 wealthiest people in the world. He's still more than $100 billion behind the top spot held by Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. The bankruptcy of a major Pizza Hut franchisee is likely to lead to 300 restaurants being closed. NPC International filed for Chapter 11 protection last month. Yesterday, it reached a deal with Pizza Hut's owner, Yum Brands, that called for it to close a quarter of its locations and sell the rest. Pizza Hut described the locations being shut as significant underperformers. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. I'm Diane King Hall.
Up next in sports, the SEC is set for football this fall. We'll let you know how Missouri and Arkansas will start out this season when we come back.
Now, sports on Color 10 News.
The Mizzou Tigers were back to practice yesterday to get set for the 2020 season, and Eli Drinkwitz's first year at the school won't start that easily. The SEC is playing a 10-game conference-only schedule with one of the biggest dynasties ever coming to Columbia to start. Coach Drink will make his Mizzou coaching debut on September 26th against the third-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Then the third game of the year involves a trip down to Baton Rouge against LSU. For the next 6 weeks, though, the coach is more concerned about keeping his Tiger players healthy and building a football team.
You can't rush it. You can't worry about all the time that you lost. You just got to make do with the time that you do have, and you got to make sure that you do it right and go slow and put it in piece by piece. This is a long-term play for the Mizzou Tigers. I mean, obviously, we're going to do everything we can to be as successful as we can this year, but this is a long-term play for me and for us and for our culture and for our team. So you got to lay the foundation right. If you have a crack in it, you got to tear the whole thing down and start over again.
Now, the situation isn't much better down south in Arkansas. Like the Tigers, the SEC assigned new coach Sam Pittman a tough opener. The fourth-ranked Georgia Bulldogs come to Fayetteville September 26th. Pittman will be trying to turn around an Arkansas team that's lost 9 straight games and the last 19 SEC games that they've played. It looks like senior transfer Felipe Franks will go into camp, though, as the #1 quarterback. Also, big NFL news. The Kansas City Chiefs have announced they're going to allow about 16,000 fans into Arrowhead Stadium for at least the first 3 home games of the NFL season. The Chiefs also said they'll require fans to wear masks while inside. They'll allow tailgating at the Arrowhead parking lot, but with no more than 6 fans at each tailgate. Going to be interesting to see how that's enforced come this new football season. In baseball last night, the Cardinals win Game 1 of a doubleheader against the Cubs 3-1, but drop Game 2 5-4. Also, the Royals lose a third game out of 4 against the Twins. Final score there, 4-1. Elisa Raffa is back over there in the weather lab, looking over a calm Springfield this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. It is another quiet, cool start out there this morning. 62 degrees in Springfield with some light north winds and dew points in the upper 50s, so it is feeling good again this morning. Clear skies on satellite and radar. You've got some clean sweeps there. It's 66 degrees in West Plains, 66 degrees in Branson, and 64 degrees in Monette. You've got dew points in the middle and upper 50s, so it's another pleasant start where it's feeling good out there this morning with some greens on that muggy meter map. At the playground today, it's going to be beautiful. You'll have some cool sunshine, so that's good. You can take the kids out, make sure they have water, but you don't have to worry about the excessive heat, which would be very nice. You'll find those temperatures in the lower 80s with lots of sunshine by the afternoon. While you sleep tonight, you can open up the windows again, finally giving the AC a little bit of a break. It will be cool and pleasant with those overnight lows in the upper 50s and lower 60s. So highs in the lower 80s today will be cooler than yesterday. Upper 50s and lower 60s tonight, some middle 80s tomorrow, another pleasant cool afternoon. As you mow the lawn today and tomorrow, you'll have some dry conditions. Again, really ideal because it's not going to be sweltering hot, so you can do it without worrying about overexerting yourself in the heat, which will be nice for a change. You'll find some dry conditions through the rest of the week, so no excuses on the mow or no forecast. You'll find a warming trend pretty much starting tomorrow. We'll take a step up in heat and humidity every day, getting towards the weekend with highs back in the lower 90s on Saturday and Sunday. The overnights will do the same, where you'll find some overnight lows in the upper 50s today and tomorrow, and then it gets stickier as you head towards the weekend into early next week. 7 days still pretty quiet. Sunshine each day. You'll just find a warming trend.
Still to come for you, the Democratic National Convention has begun. We'll have to recap the first night of events for you when we come back here on Daybreak.
Welcome back to Daybreak. The Democratic National Convention is now underway, based out of Milwaukee, but mostly taking place remotely. Skylar Henry reports.
The Democratic National Convention opened virtually last night, largely online and much of it pre-recorded. The first virtual convention in U.S. history included a succession of speakers who took aim at President Trump.
Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Trump golfs. His actions fanned this pandemic.
We now face a second threat, but this time not from Mother Nature. This is a man-made threat by our own negligence.
The political speeches were broken up by musical performances and guest interviews aimed at highlighting the Democrats' policy priorities. George Floyd's brothers led a moment of silence for victims of police violence. The night ended with former First Lady Michelle Obama blasting her husband's successor.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head.
Earlier Monday, President Trump was in Wisconsin, where the scaled-down Democratic convention is based.
Joe Biden has no enthusiasm. No enthusiasm. And you don't win without enthusiasm.
The Republicans hold their convention next week. Most of the major speeches and events are scheduled to be held at federal properties in the Washington, D.C. area. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Tonight, the Democrats will conduct the official roll call of the state delegations. Among the speakers on night 2, former President Bill Clinton and former Second Lady Jill Biden.
Still ahead for you this morning, we'll hear from an Arkansas medical professional who's afraid inaccurate data could lead Arkansans to not take COVID-19 as seriously.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Daybreak. Today is Tuesday, August 18th. I'm Jennifer Abreu.
And I'm Joe Morano, here to take you through this morning for you. And it's going to be another nice one. I always talk about getting outside to walk or jog. Have a picnic, though. You can do so many other nice things with this weather, right?
Yes, because it is so nice out there.
It's so nice, especially for August. You know, this time of year, we talk about dog days of summer, the sweltering heat. So it's nice to get a break from that a little bit, you know?
Yeah, because it was humid for so long, and just to get that little break, I think that's what is so nice about it, and we can't say that enough, I guess. I was even telling you yesterday, Elisa, it gives us a little taste of fall, which I didn't know I was ready for until I got that little taste of fall.
Yeah. Sure, that's exactly what it feels like, and it will definitely feel like that going into tomorrow as well. We're starting out this morning pretty quiet with those overnight lows in the lower 60s at 62 degrees with some light north winds and dew points in the upper 50s. You've got clear skies out there this morning, so nothing to worry about there on satellite and radar. It's 66 degrees in Branson, 64 degrees in Monette, and 62 degrees in Springfield. Dew points are in the middle and upper 50s, so it's feeling comfortable again out there this morning with some greens on the muggy meter map. You'll have some dry conditions on the roads today, just lots of sunshine, so grab the sunglasses. I don't expect the weather to slow you down in any way. Out on the patio, you'll find mostly sunny skies with temperatures in the lower 80s, so a little bit cooler than yesterday and feeling pretty good. Cooler sunshine today will be pleasant going into tonight. A sunny stretch still turns hotter by the weekend. Details in your full forecast coming up in 10 minutes.
The question is now being asked in Arkansas, is the COVID-19 death count higher than the reported rate for the state? Lauren Krakow breaks down why these discrepancies could actually make a big difference.
Recently, the question has been asked, is the COVID-19 death toll higher than reported for the state? A medical professional I spoke to says yes, it is.
I do think we have our COVID deaths underreported to the state.
Fayetteville City Health Director Dr. Marty Sharkey says when the Arkansas Department of Health reports our state's COVID-19 death slate, it puts the total number in question.
They're having to report the test results, the antigen results, trying to get it out to the counties and trying to process all the death certificates. So it's just a lot of data being processed and our systems are being overwhelmed. They are looking at the death numbers and they're like, oh, it's not as high when they are higher.
Dr. Sharkey fears this could make Arkansans undermine this deadly virus.
The data is not as clean as it needs to be.
Dr. Austin Porter, Deputy Chief Science Officer for the ADH, says when dealing with an infectious disease of this nature, there's always the possibility of underrepresenting the numbers.
We do work with our coroners to make sure that we try to get as many cases as possible and that they're accurately counted.
While there are a lot of different factors that play into why numbers would be wrong, like waiting for test results, Dr. Porter says the ADH is taking initiatives to ensure clean and correct data is given to the public.
I think that the state of Arkansas can rest well knowing that we have a team of over 20 epidemiologists who are working specifically on COVID-19.
So Arkansans can make COVID-19 choices that are safest for their families.
Decisions are being made based on these data, and we want to make sure that we are giving them the most accurate information that they have.
Especially as we head into a school year of uncertainty.
I think it's concerning in that it causes some people not to take COVID as seriously as they need to.
The Arkansas Justice Reform Coalition is suing the city of Fayetteville. The lawsuit is against the funding of 2 new school resource officers for Fayetteville Public Schools. Earlier this month, the Fayetteville City Council rejected a resolution to fund the 2 officers. A $250,000 grant would have funded the positions, and then the city and school district would have paid the remaining $312,710. The coalition suing says because city council members have already voted on the issue, amended it, and it failed, bringing it back to the floor goes against Fayetteville City Council's policy.
The extra hands don't have to be armed. Those extra hands don't have to be in a hard, intimidating uniform that causes fear to both girls and to people of color in our community.
Fayetteville Public Schools defended the district's request for more school resource officers, saying it's worked with Fayetteville PD for the last 23 years to provide a safe school environment. In a statement, Superintendent John Colbert said in part, this presents an opportunity to deepen the relationship between FPS and law enforcement while providing greater transparency and accountability in disciplinary processes and procedures within our schools.
And some more education coverage for you. With many students going back to school online this fall, parents have come up with learning pods to balance work and homeschooling their children. A learning pod pairs small groups of kids with a teacher, tutor, or parent. One education expert says parents shouldn't feel pressure to recreate the classroom. Establish a schedule with your child so they're a part of it and post it in your home. Make sure the day is planned to include after-school activities.
1 to 1:45 is arts and crafts, and from 1:45 to 2:30 is exercise time, and maybe board games and chores.
It's also recommended to change the learning environment, allow kids to read under a tree or do math on the patio. Also be flexible. Try the first plan for a month and then change things up if needed.
The United Way of Northwest Arkansas is helping with school supplies as kids head back to school. The nonprofit passed out supplies yesterday. In the midst of the pandemic, United Way had to make some changes to its annual Fill the Bus event. Donors were able to purchase and donate items online instead of in person.
On a normal year, we would have raised this school supplies at Walmart's and taken the school buses back to the districts, but it's kind of a cool opportunity today to meet face to face with the school districts and help them load the supplies in their car.
School districts will continue to pick up supplies through Thursday at United Way in Lowell.
Dr. Deborah Birx of the White House Coronavirus Task Force led a roundtable with state leaders and health officials in Arkansas about the state's response to COVID-19. Schools and testing were main topics there. Governor Asa Hutchinson asked about what the feds are doing in regard to testing and helping out those states. Birx responded they're working with suppliers and testing facilities to get those turnaround times brought down even further. Dr. Birx also said communities needed to take more precautions so kids don't go to school potentially infected.
That's the mask, the social distancing, avoiding crowds, not having parties in your home, not going to backyard parties, and really ensuring that we can get those cases down so that children don't go to school already infected because of what has happened in their community.
She also said she believes Arkansas is starting to see some positive trends because of the mask mandate that Governor Hutchinson has implemented.
And we're starting off with some dry roads on the Color 10 Live Drive this morning. It's a quiet and cool start with a temperature at 62 degrees right now in Springfield. Details on a warming trend in the 7-day coming up next.
And now weather with meteorologist Elisa Raffa, certified by WeatherRate for the most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
Good morning. We are starting out cool and comfortable out there this morning. It's 62 degrees in Springfield with some mostly clear skies, some light northwest winds and some dew points in the upper 50s. So things are feeling pretty good out there this morning. It's 66 degrees in West Plains, a pair of 6s in Camdenton, and a pair of 6s also in Branson. And this is coming with these very pleasant dew points in the upper 50s, middle and upper 50s. So it's very comfortable out there this morning. It just feels much better than it's been. We're at the bottom of the muggy meter for a change where things are feeling pretty comfortable and nice. And that's a nice change, and it is a change for sure, because in Springfield, we find our summer nights warmer on average. This is the average low temperature in Springfield since 1970 for the summer months. And you can see it's got a fever of almost 4 degrees since 1970, meaning we find these summer nights getting warmer, and more of these nights on average are warmer than they are cooler. So when you have these very warm overnights, you know, you're cranking the AC all day because it's hot during the day, and then it never really cools off at night. So the AC's pretty much staying on 24/7, right? So you're finding an increase in cooling demand because you don't find that temperature dropping below 65 degrees. And that's the case since 1970 right here in Springfield. And we actually are expecting the AC use to increase in the future as it continues to get hotter earlier in the season, staying hotter later in the season, and keeping these temperatures pretty warm and muggy on the overnight. So in your home, they're expecting an AC increase by 59% by 2050. When you're using this AC even more in the summer, there are a couple impacts there. Of course, the electricity bill, everyone has felt that pain this summer. More cases of heat sickness, especially for minority and low-income groups that typically don't have access to air conditioning. And then increased waste of CO2 and heat coming out of these AC units. We usually find that in the summer as well. All this to say, these next couple of nights where we don't have to use the air conditioning will be a much welcomed break. You're looking at some pleasant conditions on the muggy meter map this morning with that Canadian high overhead. You'll find a new shot of that cool and dry air, so it's going to feel good out there this afternoon with those temperatures in the lower 80s, cooler than it's been. Pleasant upper 50s. You can open up the windows again tonight, and then you'll have some pleasant middle 80s tomorrow. So looking at a quiet week ahead, you're attacking on the heat and humidity a little bit each day with that big area of high pressure continuing to seep a little bit closer. It will start to get hot and humid getting closer to the weekend. So cooler sunshine today, pretty crisp overnight tonight. Feeling good through the middle of the week, and then you're trending hotter by the weekend and still dry, so not really expecting any rain chances there. A warming trend starts tomorrow. You'll have a cool day today, then you're looking at highs getting back into the lower 90s by the weekend. You'll find some overnight relief through Wednesday morning and Thursday morning in the upper 50s. Muggier 60s return going into the weekend. 82 degrees today, some cooler sunshine with north winds. 58 degrees overnight tonight, cool and pleasant. 84 degrees tomorrow, mostly sunny and nice. The 7 days still pretty quiet rain-wise. We'll have sunshine and expect some dry conditions. A warming trend, though, with temperatures and humidity getting an uptick each day.
All right, plenty more on the way for you this morning. Concerns about the U.S. Postal Service continue to rise, and what a new study is showing about teens and vaping when we come back.
Welcome back to Daybreak. As concern around the United States Postal Service grows, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has brought lawmakers back to Capitol Hill to vote on a bill. Our Washington correspondent Basil John reports.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is interrupting the August recess to try and rescue the post office.
It is something that people depend on, and now they have reacted to.
Pelosi and other Democrats want to boost funding and outlaw any service and operation changes at the Postal Service that threaten the election.
Because of their assault on the postal system affecting the choice people have to make between their health and their vote come election if they can't vote by mail.
But President Trump says Congress should be concerned with other matters.
Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer should get back into Washington, and they should approve stimulus for the people.
Many Republican lawmakers are also criticizing the Speaker for her call to bring lawmakers back to Washington.
The Speaker wants to run the post office like she runs the House floor. Well, if that was the case, nobody ever get mail.
Pennsylvania Congressman Fred Keller says Congress should not stick its nose into USPS business.
That's up to the Postmaster General, the Board of Governors to do that.
Keller and other Republicans say they are waiting for more details about the Democrats' bill before deciding how they'll vote on Saturday. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Convicted felon Roger Stone has told the D.C. Court of Appeals he'd like to drop the challenge of his criminal conviction. Stone, you'll recall, was convicted last November on 7 counts of lying to Congress and witness tampering during his work on the 2016 Trump campaign. His conviction stood even after the president commuted his sentence, and Stone vowed to try to clear his name in the court system. However, he did not give a reason for dismissing his appeal.
A new chapter in American energy independence. That's what Interior Secretary David Bernhardt calls the plans for drilling a remote area of Alaska. He announced plans for an oil and gas leasing program in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, which clears the way for drilling there. That's 1.5 million acres that could be drilled, and he predicts it could create thousands of new jobs. It makes good on a 2017 law that makes oil and gas developments one of the purposes of that area. The move is not without controversy, though, and the plans are certain to be met with legal challenges. Environmental activists worry drilling there could hurt the environment and make the climate crisis even worse.
Nearly half of teens who vape say they want to quit, according to a study published yesterday. It used data from nearly 500 kids between the ages of 12 and 17 who said they vaped at least once over the course of a month. About 44.5% of them said they wanted to quit, and almost a quarter have tried to. Researchers say their study shows health experts can't just focus on keeping kids from vaping. They also need to find ways to help kids quit once they've started.
Good morning. It's just about 5:50. We're checking your weather on the 10s here on Color 10. It's 62 degrees in Springfield. We've got some clouds out there this morning. It's feeling good with some light northwest winds and dew points in the upper 50s. Clean sweeps on satellite and radar. It is 66 degrees in Branson, 63 degrees in Monette, and 64 degrees in Fort Leonard Wood. Dew points, again, are very comfortable in the upper 50s. So it's feeling good on the muggy meter map. You've got some dry green conditions there. At the pool, you'll have some cooler sunshine out there today, 82 degrees, mostly sunny and below average for those temperatures. As you fire up the grill, you'll keep the sunshine and that pleasant feel through the evening hours. It stays pretty comfortable through the overnight with humidity staying low. So temperatures in the lower 80s out there today. Overnight, you'll find those lows in the upper 50s and lower 60s, so another night to open up the windows. And then by tomorrow, you'll find those temperatures in the middle 80s. It should continue to feel pretty good out there. So a nice stretch out on the lakes. If you want to do some fishing, you'll find those temperatures starting to get warmer each day, a little bit stickier by the weekend, but not expecting any showers and storms at all. You'll find a warming trend through the 7-day, right? Today will be the coolest day. Then we get a little bit warmer tomorrow and through the subsequent days after that. Temperatures getting back into the lower 90s by the weekend. The overnight lows do the same. You're most comfortable tonight and then Thursday morning and then we get sticky again going into the weekend and early next week. Again, sunshine expected through the 7-day forecast. Jen?
And Lisa, thank you. A different spin on a Charles Dickens classic is coming to the big screen, and you will meet the new cast of Love Island. Nichelle Medina has those stories and more in today's Eye on Entertainment report.
It's a modern twist on a Charles Dickens classic in the personal history of David Copperfield.
Mr. Dick! Mr. Dick! Is it lunch?
A new clip of the comedy drama has just been released, starring Dev Patel as David Copperfield. The story follows David as he moves around and meets a curious cast of characters, all while collecting notes that become his autobiography. The personal history of David Copperfield is set to hit theaters August 28th.
Enola. Who are you? She's your sister.
Netflix has released the first teaser for Enola Holmes, starring Millie Bobby Brown as Sherlock Holmes' younger sister. The movie centers on Enola learning that her mother has disappeared. Enola Holmes streams on Netflix September 23rd. And 11 single people are ready to find their match. CBS has announced the Islanders looking for love on season 2 of Love Island. The cast includes 22-year-old Jeremiah White, 27-year-old Caitlin Anderson, and 22-year-old Carrington Rodriguez. The reality series kicks off with a 2-hour premiere on August 24th. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, stay with us here on Daybreak. When we come back, we have some news for Golden Girls fans. We'll be right back.
All right, the Golden Girls house is sold for much more than its asking price. We talked about this a while ago when it was on the market, but this house was used in that 80s sitcom and was originally listed in LA for just under $3 million, guys.
Well, it sold in just a couple weeks, actually, and it sold for $4 million, so more than asking price.
It looks not like it did in the show on the inside. Look
so
how
now,
nice
it looks so modern.
Here's my thoughts with this.
It must have just been the outside shot, right?
Well, but you bought the house that was used in the iconic show. If that's me, I got to make it look like an 80s house. I want it to look like the Golden Girls house, right?
Yeah, I wonder if that couldn't have been the actual inside. They must have just took, like the Full House, you know? They just
Maybe
take the
it was
outside
renovated.
shot.
Anyway, the new owner has not been announced.
It wasn't us. It was me.
Be right back. She's going to her new home. See you guys later.